Baseball has had its warriors, its rebels, its artists. But Derek Jeter was something else entirely. A gentleman in pinstripes, a steady hand in chaos, a face that never cracked. He wasn't the loudest. He wasn't the strongest. But in the moments that mattered most, October nights, tied scores, roaring crowds, he was the one who delivered. With over 3,400 hits, 5 World Series rings, and a career unmarred by scandal in a steroid-stained era, Jeter became a symbol of integrity in a game struggling to hold on to it. But that perfection came at a cost. Some questioned it. Some resented it. Could any man truly be that flawless? He was the captain of the Yankees, the most scrutinized team in American sports, for over a decade. And through it all, he never gave the press what they wanted. No drama, no gossip, just results. He was adored by millions and doubted by many. Was Derek Jeter baseball's last great hero, or its greatest illusion? Derek Jeter was born on a June day in 1974 in Pequannock, New Jersey, but his story really began in Kalamazoo, Michigan. There, in a modest home tucked within a quiet neighborhood, a biracial boy with sharp eyes and a quiet smile started to believe he was meant for something bigger. His father, Dr. Sanderson Charles Jeter, a black man who served in the U.S. Army, and his mother, Dorothy, a white woman of Irish and German descent, were both college-educated and fiercely principled. From the beginning, they taught Derek 2 things: never say can't and always respect yourself. Baseball wasn't just a game in the Jeter household. It was a contract. If Derek wanted to play, he had to keep his grades up, stay out of trouble, and treat everyone with dignity. And he did. Even as a child, Derek was meticulous. He made his bed, he polished his cleats, he shook hands after games and looked coaches in the eye. There was a polish to him, even then. But Kalamazoo wasn't always kind. Being biracial in a mostly white town wasn't simple. He heard things, cruel words, quiet whispers, but he never lashed out. He held it in, turned it into focus. Every summer, he'd visit his grandparents in New Jersey and catch Yankees games at the old stadium in the Bronx. Sitting in those bleachers, eyes wide, watching Mattingly and Winfield and Righetti, a dream took shape. He didn't just want to be a Yankee. He expected it. By the time he was a teenager, Derek would tell anyone who asked, teachers, friends, coaches, that he was going to play shortstop for the New York Yankees. Most kids said things like that and grew out of it. Derek never did. The dream sharpened in high school, where Derek starred for Kalamazoo Central. His swing was fluid, his fielding elegant, but it was his discipline that stunned scouts. He arrived early, stayed late, studied pitchers like textbooks. In his senior year, he batted .508. That's when the letters started coming, from the University of Michigan, from agents, from major league teams. But not everyone believed. Some scouts questioned whether he could handle the grind of pro baseball. He was too skinny, they said. His arm wasn't elite, his footwork needed work, and he made errors. A lot of them. But one scout saw something deeper. Dick Groch of the Yankees didn't just see stats, he saw poise. He has it, Groch told the front office. Don't let him get away. The Yankees listened. In 1992, they took Jeter 6th overall in the MLB draft. But the start was rocky. In his first minor league season, Derek made 56 errors. The press back home in Michigan began to doubt. The dream, it seemed, was cracking. Jeter was shaken. Away from home for the first time, alone in unfamiliar towns, riding buses from one empty stadium to another, it nearly broke him. He called his parents in tears. He wanted to come home. But Dorothy and Charles didn't coddle him. They reminded him who he was, what he'd said all those years. I will play for the Yankees. Not might, will. Derek stayed. He adapted. He worked harder than ever, and by 1994, he was winning Minor League Player of the Year, climbing the Yankees farm system with quiet determination. Then, in 1996, destiny knocked. Starting shortstop Tony Fernandez was injured. The Yankees needed a replacement. Jeter got the call. Opening day, Yankee Stadium. 21 years old, wearing number 2. He didn't blink. From the moment Derek Jeter stepped onto the field at Yankee Stadium on opening day 1996, something just felt right. He homered in his very first game and never looked back. By season's end, he was the unanimous American League Rookie of the Year, helping lead the Yankees to their first World Series title in 18 years. The kid from Kalamazoo was no longer a prospect. He was the shortstop of the New York Yankees. And it wasn't just the plays he made, it was when he made them. Game on the line, crowd on its feet, pressure boiling over. That's when Jeter thrived. That's why they called him Captain Clutch. In the 2001 ALDS down 2-0 to the Athletics, Jeter chased a wild throw up the first baseline. Then, in one motion, flipped it backhanded to the catcher, cutting down Jeremy Giambi at the plate. The play was improbable, unbelievable. It saved the Yankees' season. They call it simply the flip. In 2004, he dove headfirst into the stands, chasing a foul ball, face bloodied, body bruised. He emerged holding the ball. The crowd roared. The legend grew. By the late 2000s, Jeter was the face of baseball's most iconic franchise. He passed 3,000 hits, a milestone only a handful of Yankees had reached, and did it with style, a home run at Yankee Stadium. No Yankee had ever done that before. The moment was pure Jeter. Quiet confidence, clutch performance, history sealed with a swing. He wasn't a slugger. He wasn't flashy. He never led the league in home runs or RBIs or stolen bases. But he was there, always there, in the lineup, in the moment, in control. He played the game with grace, fluid footwork, elegant swing, a calm that made even the biggest games feel manageable. And while sabermetricians debated his defensive range or his WAR, fans didn't care. They saw heart. They saw leadership. They saw a man who wore the Yankee pinstripes like armor. Jeter was named captain in 2003. The title wasn't ceremonial. It fit. He led not by speeches, but by example, showing up, putting in work, staying humble. Teammates followed him. Fans trusted him. In a city that chewed up legends and spit them out, Derek Jeter lasted 20 seasons, 5 World Series titles, 14 All-Star selections, over 30,400 hits, 0 scandals. He wasn't just a great player. He was the Yankees. For a man so synonymous with composure, the cracks, if they existed, were hard to see. But they were there, subtle and quiet, like everything else about Derek Jeter. He played in the heart of the steroid era, a time when baseball's brightest stars were exposed, disgraced, and tainted. Bonds, Clemens, A-Rod. Yet Jeter's name never appeared on any report, never lingered in any whisper. He was clean, too clean, some said. That perfection, so rare, so absolute, became its own controversy. Critics began to question, was he overrated? Was his leadership overblown? Advanced metrics didn't always love him. His defensive stats especially took hits. Analysts picked apart his range, his reaction time, his reliance on highlight reel plays to mask flaws. And for the first time, the numbers seemed to fight the legend. But the fans didn't care. Because Jeter wasn't a spreadsheet, he was a moment. Still, the pressure of upholding that image, flawless leader, clutch performer, clean-cut icon, was immense. He kept his private life sealed tight, never a scandal, never a slip. But those closest to him whispered of a man constantly on guard, wary of trust, insulated by fame. In New York, he dated models and celebrities, yet never let the tabloids in. He smiled in public, but his walls were high. Then came 2012. At age 38, Jeter was still producing, leading the league in hits, defying age. But in Game 1 of the ALCS, chasing a routine ground ball, he collapsed, fractured ankle. The silence in Yankee Stadium that night said it all. He returned the next year, but he wasn't the same. His body began to betray him. The swing slowed, the quickness dulled. Even the invincible had limits. By 2014, Derek Jeter announced his retirement. One final season, one last goodbye. When Derek Jeter stepped to the plate for the final time at Yankee Stadium, the moment felt scripted. Bottom of the ninth, game tied, runner on second, one last swing, line drive to right, walk-off single. The crowd erupted, not just for the hit, but for the poetry of it all. Jeter didn't need fireworks or farewell tours, but he got both. Not because he asked for them, because he earned them. Over 2 decades, he became more than just the Yankees' captain. He became a symbol of something rare: consistency in chaos, integrity in an era of compromise. When he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2020, he fell just 1 vote short of unanimity, an almost poetic imperfection for a man so often seen as flawless. He smiled, shrugged, said nothing, because that's who Derek Jeter always was. He didn't chase validation. He let his play speak. Today, number 2 is retired in the Bronx. His plaque sits in Monument Park. But more than that, his presence lingers in the way young shortstops approach the game, in how fans talk about leadership, in the silence of a clutch moment when a team needs calm more than chaos. He wasn't the loudest, he wasn't the flashiest, but when the lights burned brightest, Derek Jeter was there. Captain Clutch, the quiet legend, gone from the field, etched into time.